All right, guys. So as we come towards the end of 2021, I think it's fair to say that when we look at the Bitcoin chart, we aren't at the price point that many of us were expecting we would be as we come towards the end of the year. Now, I'm not saying that's anyone in particular's fault. This is the situation we're in where many people were expecting a big blow off top to the end of the year, and that seems unlikely to happen at the moment. Now, I think there are two key reasons why the majority of us retail traders have been thinking this way. One is influencers, and two, we're expecting a repeat of 2017. So 2017 did look quite similar to this in some ways. And actually, if we go back, let's go back to 2017 here, we can see around about, let me just put this into a longer candle so you can get more of a visual idea of what happened. Around May time, they had the first peak, then they had some consolidation, then another peak, a bit of a pullback, and then really parabolic blow off top as they went through November into December. So this is where people were expecting we'd be. And to be honest, this is what I was hoping we were going to be, or at least close to this. You know, I thought if we didn't get it in November, December, we might see it in January, February. But I don't think that's going to be the case, and that's fine. But I want to learn from that. So this might just be my fault from following too many influencers that were all saying the same thing. But when I look back through my Twitter history and YouTube history and all of the people that I follow, the vast majority of influencers were singing off the same hymn sheet that we were going to see this big blow off top. As it is, we've seen the first peak. So if we go back to earlier on this year, we saw the first peak around April, May time, just as in 2017. We've then seen another peak, which this one here was the peak people were talking about that was going to be the pullback, and that was going to launch us into the parabolic blow off top. But what's happened is we had a second peak, a new all-time high, and then a big pullback. Now this chart still looks extremely healthy and we're still in a macro bull cycle, and I'm expecting us to go higher. But I think people were expecting us to be more around this area at the moment, closer towards the 100K mark is what people were hoping for, at least for the end of the year. And I would say that's probably unlikely at the moment. The other thing is, not only were we expecting a repeat of 2017, we also have Plan B. Now, many of you guys probably have seen Plan B's predictions. I can't actually show you his tweets because he blocked me for daring to disagree. And if you follow me on Twitter, you'll have seen my post about that over the weekend. But let's go back to his tweet earlier on this year. So he said, this was in June, he said that his worst case scenario for 2021 for his on-chain based analysis would be August at 47K, September at 43K, October at 63K, which if you go back and check were all very good predictions. But then November at 98K. And unless we get a huge move in the next 24 to 48 hours, we're not going to get anywhere close to 98K. And that doesn't mean we should completely disregard what Plan B has said. And this doesn't directly impact his stock to flow model. This is a different model. This is something else he's done himself. So this isn't directly related to stock to flow, so don't exclude that model. But at the same time, a lot of people, I've seen this mentioned so many times in so many videos and in so many tweets, they are expecting close to 100K in November and then even higher in December. And remember, this was his worst case prediction, his worst case scenario for 2021. So I think that's going to be proven well wrong as we go through the next few days and also through December. So when you take that, basically the fractal of 2017 and Plan B's predictions playing out for a few months and combine them together, plus all of the hype from Twitter and YouTube influencers, a lot of people in the retail space, especially people like myself that only entered the market, I entered the market around about here, around April, May this year. I've only been in the market 6 months or so. I was believing the hype, I was drinking the Kool-Aid, and I'm sure many of you guys are probably guilty of that as well. And I had a trading strategy designed around this blow off top. So now it seems clear that this isn't happening, or at least in the short term. It's time for me to rethink my strategy. What am I going to be doing for the next 6 to 12 months? Because it's not like I was expecting, make a load of money and then we'll consolidate as we go through the bear market and then we buy them cheaply, which I think, I know it sounds a really simple thing to say. A lot of people were hoping they'd bought the bottom and we're going to sell the top, which isn't a trading strategy. And that's something I've learned very quickly since I've been in this business. So we need proper trading strategies. Be honest with yourself. The coins you've bought at the moment, do you have an exit price in mind? Because my gut feel is a lot of the people in the retail space, their trading strategy is buy, HODL, sell the top. And I'll be honest, I was a bit sucked into that. I'm a bit stuck into that mindset still at the moment. So there's nothing to be ashamed of if that's where you are. But now's the time to rethink that strategy. Think about where it's going. and whether that's still the right strategy. Now, a HODL strategy can be great, especially if you don't want to be that actively involved in the markets, and just looking at Bitcoin generally speaking and cryptocurrency overall. The chart is pretty much always going upwards to the right. So if you do buy some coins today, especially larger layer one reliable altcoins, and look again in 12 months time, I'm sure we will be somewhere in this region and you will have done very, very well. But there will also be a lot of opportunities you miss if you just HODL. And that's why I'm rethinking my strategy. So just going back to kind of Bitcoin being at similar highs here as we were, 6 months ago, I guess. I know we did set a new all-time high around 69k versus, they're about 65k. But in percentage terms, that's very small. I mean, it's just over 5, 6, maybe 7% increase. But what is quite interesting, if you go to the total market caps, actually, we've gone from around about a 2.5 trillion market cap to around 3 trillion at the peak. And at the moment, despite the fact we're in a decent sized pullback, the overall market cap is where we were when Bitcoin first peaked earlier on this year, which is a really promising sign because it shows that there's more money in the space. But what it shows is that money's being more distributed. So maybe that's one of the reasons why Bitcoin isn't taking off as much, as people were moving into alts a lot quicker than they were previously. So the first part of my strategy based on this overview is going through my influencer feed, looking at the people that called this wrong, and it's absolutely fine if they called this wrong and were promising 100k or 150k or even 200k blow off top at the end of this year, but then watching their recent videos to see whether they're acknowledging the fact they were wrong and what they're learning from this. If they're just sitting there being hype boy still, I'm going to ask myself, why am I following these guys? What value am I getting? Because all I'm going to do is make bad decisions based on what I hope will happen, because everyone wants to believe we're going to the moon rather than actually challenging these thoughts. And I think now is a good time to challenge those. Go through your feed, see who you're following on Twitter and YouTube. And it's fine to have those guys in there, but also have some guys who are looking the other way and seeing things from a different perspective. And I've done some of that this morning. And two of the guys in my feed from Twitter and also YouTube, one is Eric Crown. He's got a fantastic channel. He does daily streams. I first found him on Elio Trades channel. And again, I like Elio. If you're not following him, follow him, Elio Trades. But I like Crown because he doesn't get too emotionally involved. He's a technical trader and everything is about technicals. He doesn't worry about the news too much. So it's really interesting seeing someone just looking at it without emotion, looking at it without preference, and just looking purely at the technicals. And we also have Data Dash. Nicholas seems to be very, very level-headed. And he's been the only guy in my channel all year when everyone's been saying we've got a blow off top at the end of this year, saying, no, it's going to take us into next year. And he talks all about the expanding cycles theory. So if at the moment your feeds are full of moon boys, I'd give these two guys a watch, as I think they'll give you another perspective that's certainly worth being aware of. So with all of that in mind, what else am I doing with my strategy? So at the moment, my portfolio is pretty much a 100% HODL portfolio because I didn't really know better when I started out. So I was just believing the hype that this parabolic blow off top was going to happen, and I was just going to sell at some point in November or December or January and sit there with a nice 4 or 5x on my entire portfolio. Now, I'm being more realistic now and not expecting that to happen, so I'm going to adjust my portfolio and strategy accordingly. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually start to split my portfolio. So rather than having a 100% HODL portfolio or an investment portfolio, I'm probably going to have a 70% HODL portfolio. I still believe most of the stuff that I'm invested in 12 months' time will be at much higher values. But I also want to take advantage of the opportunities. So for example, at the moment, we're in a really good pullback and I'd like to have more money to deploy in these situations. So I think I'm going to split my portfolio 70% for HODLing and 30% for active trading, either on a daily or slightly longer term basis. So that's what I'm going to adjust the overall portfolio to do over the next few weeks as we go into 2022. In terms of the type of coins I'm in, my previous video, I talked about all of the coins I'm invested in at the moment. I'll just show you quickly. I've got a screenshot here of my CoinGecko app on my phone. You can see I'm mainly in the large layer ones, Ethereum, Solana. I've got some Bitcoin from mining. I'm also in gaming related tokens such as Super and Ultra, but I'll just scroll through this slowly for anyone that's not aware. But what I will probably look to do is to consolidate this portfolio a little bit, to shrink this maybe down to 10 or 15 long-term coins that I want to HODL, and then have another 5 to 10 coins I'm actively trading as and when opportunities present themselves. So one of the things that I will be looking at is the gaming and metaverse play. As you would have seen in my portfolio, I've already got a few plays in there. What I'll probably do is have some of the more consolidated coins in my HODL portfolio. So coins such as Ultra, maybe coins such as Super Farm, But individual games, that will be probably part of a trading portfolio, as I think they will be much more sporadic in their price action. So something like Ultra, more than happy to have in HODL, but if I was going to invest in maybe something like Sandbox, then potentially that would be my trading portfolio instead. And if you go down and look at the opportunity in the gaming and metaverse arena at the moment, you can see the market cap for these entire sectors are less than $40 billion. I think if you look on CoinMarketCap, it's less than $50 billion. But if you put that into perspective, that is gaming and metaverse as a whole. But if you look at individual coins, you know, we have individual coins like Cardano that are worth or have a market cap currently larger than the entirety of the gaming and metaverse market cap, which is insane. And it goes to show, one, Cardano is either massively overpriced, you know, have your own debate in the comments below, or two, the gaming and metaverse section is massively underpriced and there's going to be huge growth potential. As we've seen over the past month or two, when Bitcoin's been going sideways or down, the metaverse and gaming tokens have been going off. They've been going crazy, and some people have made insane returns. So certainly I think gaming tokens will make up a large percentage of my trading portfolio, but I will have a couple mixed in with my HODL or investment portfolio as well. So that's where I am with things at the moment. I just wanted to let you guys know where my mind was going. Of course, I will keep you updated on Twitter. So if you're not following me, follow me at Darren the DGen. And as my portfolio becomes clearer, and if I do start actively trading, I'll of course let you know any trades that I make, so you guys can then make your own decision. Again, remember, I am not giving you advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I am not a financial advisor. What I'll do now, for anyone new to the space, I'll pop up two videos. One is how to buy Bitcoin and the other one is how to buy altcoins. If you found this video useful, I'd really appreciate it. Hit that like button. And if you want to see more from me, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on Twitter.